Hey, if you have not flipped out, if you have not screamed today, just get out a topographical map and look at this little thing down here, right? Grid north, magnetic north, true north. Done with it. What's up, guys? Dan here, Coalcracker. So we're not done with it, of course not. We're going to talk about it today because this gets people confused, and I'm going to show you an easy way to understand grid versus magnetic north. So what is the difference to begin with? What is the difference? Why do they have to do this? Why does stuff have to be so complicated? Okay, so let's not even talk about the map first. Let's first talk about the compass. When we're just navigating outdoors with the compass, and we're going to use one of the many navigational topics that we talked about, in and out navigation, the ray method, any of those things, all right, even a navigation course generally, we're not worried, okay, about magnetic and grid north. We're just going to go off magnetic north. We're just going to find north, and we're just going to travel that way. And it is going to get us generally where we need to go. But now, where this comes into play, and you might be thinking at this point down, what is it? What are you even talking about? Okay. So grid north, when we look at a map, and this is when this is important, because if you're using a map and you're using a compass and you don't know this, you're going to get lost. Okay, so grid north, I'm going to make this very simple for everybody, is just our grid lines run up and the grid lines run across on a map, okay? That is grid north, because when we hold our map like this, the top of our map is always north, the bottom is south, east, west. Like common stuff, right? We learn that in elementary school when we just look at a map of the United States. Same applies here. That's grid north, okay? So it goes off of the grid. Magnetic north, okay, is the direction that your needle is going to magnetically point according to the Earth's magnetic field. And that, believe this or not, changes all the time. And depending where you live, it is going to be different location to location to location. So where I am in Pennsylvania versus somebody in Wisconsin, two different magnetic norths, okay? And that's called our declination. That's going to be the difference between our grid north and our magnetic north. And you have to make adjustments for that when you are setting up your map. If you don't, you're going to be lost. And if you don't have cell service to watch Coalcracker videos, you're going to be lost forever. So let's get the camera repositioned and let's take a look at how we can actually do this. But one more thing, you're going to need one of these for today's little exercise, and this is a military protractor. Okay, you can get these things real cheap. You can get these on Amazon. There's a ton of numbers on here. There's little squares, different kind of mapping stuff, but this is a great addition, not only for what we're going to do right here. I'm going to show you one thing you can do with this, but there's a lot of different things that you can do with this that's fun, and it'll just take your navigational skills to the next level. But today, simplicity with this bad boy. All right, all you crazy bushcrafters, so here's what we're going to be looking at. First, we're going to look at, we have to always orientate our map north. So what does that mean? So what that means is, in my sitting position where I'm at, nice and comfortable, or on the ground in the woods, we need to make the map, okay, match our terrain. So meaning that if I am looking in this direction, wherever I'm at on this map, like whatever I point to, that's what's in front of me on the map, okay? Not like this, meaning now like we know this is the top of the map is north, but I'm actually pointed east in real life. So this isn't gonna work, because if I'm right here, this stuff's not in front of me. This stuff is out that way, okay? So how do we do that? So the easiest way to do that is just get in the corners of your map, and we're gonna get a little bit more detail with this, but get in the corners of your map, line your compass up, and then just take your north and put north in the doghouse, or line your north needle up to north. Now my map is orientated north, so very easy. So all that I did, again, I just took a straight edge of my compass, placed it against the straight edge of the map, and then I rotated both of those things until the north needle was pointing north on the compass. Okay, so really easy. Now, if I was here at this like reservoir, and I look this way, all this stuff is actually in front of me, all this stuff is to the left, all this stuff's to the right, okay? But the problem here is that although grid north is set up correctly at this point, magnetic north is off. And if you look down here at our key, what you're gonna notice is that we have this little key here, and it says grid north, and then to the left it says magnetic north 10 degrees. So now what happens is if I orientate my map to north off of my compass and I start to travel, I'm going to be 10 degrees off. And that's a lot. I think we can all agree on that. And that is a bad thing when we're going to be using a map. So we have to add in declination. That's where this thing is going to come into play. Now, we're going to get this set up. I know there's a lot going on with numbers and lines on this thing, but we're going to try our absolute best to make you understand and see everything. We're even going to pull a secondary map out to get a white background here, just for your viewing pleasure. So I brought out this white map, a little bit dirty from being out in the woods, but it's going to let you see this a little bit better. So I want you to use your imagination when we're doing this, okay? Imagine that we're on a map at this point. So the top of our map is up here where my finger is sliding, okay? And then these creases are going to represent our grid squares. And we're going to go back to the real map and show this in a minute. But what we're going to do with this is we're going to make sure, number one, that we can read the writing on it. And the reason I say that is if it's this way and it's backwards, it means this is upside down. So we always want to be able to read the writing on our protractor. And then what you're going to notice is that there is a 0 at the top, and if you followed it down, it says 360, okay? And if you go this direction, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 45 is out here, 90 is down here when you follow around. So what's that representing? That's representing our circle, okay? So what I want you to do, I want you to imagine that my creases here are my grid squares on my map. So what I'm gonna do, and it doesn't matter where you do this on the map, we're just building in our declination at this point. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna line up our X in the center here. You can see this, north, south, east, west. There's a little hole in the center there. We're gonna line that up right where two of these lines intersect, all right, and the top of that is going to read 360, okay? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at our map and say, hey, our declination is 10 degrees. So all I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna slide this at an angle until we hit the 10 degree mark. So it starts at 360. Of course, this way would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 45 out to here. So I'm gonna go out until we get 10 lined up with the line. That's giving me 10 degree offset to match, which I'm gonna just look down at my little key there again, my magnetic north declination. Now at this point, I'm just gonna slide my compass in against this solid side. We're gonna rotate the map, the compass, and the protractor all at once until the compass north arrow is lined up with north on the compass itself. And this is gonna orientate our map north with built-in 10 degree declination. So now my map is built in, everything is good to go. I can move these two items. Now I can start plotting out routes and finding my direction. Now we're gonna go off the real map. I know, it's very hard to see. You're not gonna be able to see the exact numbers. So that's why we did it on the white paper first. For this, we're gonna go off our grid squares. Now I know someone's gonna have a heart attack and say that some maps, the grid squares are not perfectly straight. The level of precision, okay, and the little bit of deviance that we're gonna be off because of that is null. You're gonna walk more crooked than that's ever gonna be. So we can use these grid squares for this. So I'm just gonna find a point, I'm gonna line everything up, and then I'm gonna look down in the bottom, okay, of my map. We're 10 degrees. So I'm just gonna go 10 degrees on my protractor, keeping my center point lined up. Now I'm gonna bring my compass in, line the edge of my compass up with my protractor, and we're very close. I'm just gonna rotate a little bit. North is lined up with the top of the compass, which is north at 10 degrees. Now the map is orientated properly to north with declination of 10 degrees built in. Now anywhere that I go, I'm gonna be good, and I'm gonna get to that location perfectly. Fun one today, but it is warming up out here. I gotta go soak in a pool or something. I don't have a pool, I have a pond. Maybe I'll soak in the pond. Who knows? Who knows what is in store for Coalcracker today? But either way, hit like and subscribe down below. You can also check us out at coalcrackerbushcraft.com for all our classes, our gear, and our blog. And until next video, stay in the woods. And stay in the woods with the proper declination.